We're delighted that you're here. The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the expense of being repetitious, let me just tell my chairman, Mr. Culberson, that our prayers and our thoughts were with you during that period. And we are here, and I'm here to use my vote on appropriations to make sure that Texas, Louisiana, and those places are made whole again, because it's the proper thing to do, it's the humane thing to do. And one, Mr. Chairman, thought that stands in my mind is interesting. And that is, I was watching Univision, and I saw first responders from Puerto Rico putting their gear together to go to Texas. And now as we speak, Irma is putting Puerto Rico in a situation that could be as bad as Texas. And so if there's no other reason to be good brothers and sisters, it's the fact that you never know when it's going to happen to you. That's so true. And it will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Slaughter, and other members of the committee for the opportunity to testify before you today. As the ranking member of the Commerce, Justice, Science, Appropriations Subcommittee, I am deeply disappointed to appear before you to talk about an omnibus bill rather than an individual consideration of a bill that Chairman Culberson and I have worked on to date. And let me say that in order to make my presentation short, I didn't include a lot of what we do agree on, programs that I knew I didn't have to fight for because he believed in them too. I want to point out why the bill has problems, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect the work he did or the fact that we agree on so many things. And if any money comes our way between now and the Senate, I know a lot of those things will be taken care of. Although I strongly oppose the consideration of a bill in these circumstances, I believe it is important that if this process moves forward, the CJS portion of the bill be considered under an open rule. This is the traditional manner under which appropriations legislation is considered, and I think members on both sides of the aisle would strongly prefer a return to regular order. With or without these process problems, the CJS portion of the bill is not one, unfortunately, that I can support in its current form. This bill, after scorekeeping adjustments, is cut by approximately 1% below last year's level. This is far below the level needed to adequately fund the programs of this bill, which are crucial to economic development, scientific innovation, and protecting our nation's cherished values. For example, the Legal Services Corporation, the COPS program, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, and the Economic Development Administration all absorb significant cuts below current funding levels. The Census Bureau is greatly underfunded and will be unable to complete the important and necessary work that must be done now to prepare for the 2020 census. These are programs that have Democratic and Republican support and demonstrate how this bill is insufficiently funded. I'm also troubled that this bill allows many of the administration's most troubling priorities and initiatives related to immigration and civil rights to move forward without the necessary congressional oversight. In the wake of Charlottesville, there are many in this country who are justifiably questioning our president's commitment to tolerance, fairness, and inclusiveness. The administration's budget request for the Department of Justice raises those questions as well. A proposal to harm immigrants by increasing criminal enforcement is funded in this bill. There is no attempt here to limit the department's actions to undermine affirmative action, support voter registration that disproportionately hurt minority populations, and ignore LGBT protections. All of these efforts at DOJ might be in keeping with the president's values, but these are ideas that have long been rejected by a majority of the American people. I would like to mention one amendment which I am offering, which is number 111. This amendment would take $10 million from the Burn JAG program to allow men to the Burn JAG program to allow them to provide grants to states and localities to help them investigate and prosecute hate crimes, and would provide a significant signal that the federal government will not tolerate hatred and bigotry. I hope the amendment will be made in order. While I don't support this bill, I do support each member's right to offer amendments that they believe will improve the final product. And once again, I want to thank you, Mr. Cubberson, and I want to thank all committee members for the support you've given us in the past and for the support that you give my district and my other district, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Thank you.
Mr. Serrano, thank you very much.